let's get started with this. Oops, hit the wrong thing. There we go. That should be the right. Are you guys seeing transaction or the buyer brokerage form? Okay. All right. So here is our client. You guys know when to use this. You have buyers. Frank Fickle and Fran Fickle. They are fickle buyers, like most buyers. I was going to use a best offer Betty here because they will take a best offer if they get it. If they think they can save a few bucks and cut you out, they will sometimes. So just remember that, guys. You guys all have horror stories. Let's talk a little bit about buyer brokerage agreement before we get into the nuts and bolts of it. You guys all have horror stories of people you helped and you showed a bunch of houses, and then they called you and said, you know what, Lisa, we appreciate you showing us 29 houses, but we found something on our own. You know, sorry to waste your time. They're not sorry to waste your time. They think they found a better deal without you, etc. And it really breaks your heart, and it really makes you waste one of your most important resources, which is your time, and probably your gas, meeting them all over town, and everything else that you've done for them. So let's talk about this. Term, 8th day of March, that's today. I did this for 3 months. You guys can do whatever, but if they tell you we're going to buy in the next 6 months, then make it 6 or 9 months. I mean, you know, if they're not in a hurry, there's no reason for you to be in a hurry. Type of property, single family home, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, use whatever it is, right? Location, use cities, zip codes, whatever it is you want here. Don't have to do it like I did. Price range, these people are pre-approved up to 450. They want to spend closer to 400,000. We'll get in that in a second. Sunshine State Mortgage, which is a made-up mortgage company. I should have done this. I actually didn't fill this part out. This is for amount and terms up to 450,000. 10% down. Conventional. Whatever it is, right? All right, preferred terms and conditions. Guys, this is what I want to talk to you about is using this you guys are scared to death of this form, and you shouldn't be. Use this to sell yourself to the client, to the customer, the buyer. Tell them you've been listening to them. This is what we talked about. You guys have the 2 kids that are going to college, but you've got the other 2 kids and you want to have a guest room / office. So we're going to do 4 bedrooms, 3 bath. We're going to look in these zip codes, this price range, like we talked about. You're pre-approved up to 450, but you'd like to stay around 400 for the payment. Here's what you're pre-approved for, and here's your preferred terms and conditions. Now, this is a nothing. You can put here, agent will pay for a home warranty for 1 year or whatever it is you want to do here, but this isn't the place for it. There's a place for that at the end. So this is where you're selling yourself to your client in that you listen to them. You're going to help them find what they want. This is going to get them excited about what they're going to get. Buyers want to stay as close as possible as 400,000. Buyer would like to negotiate a seller concession for an interest rate buy down, because that's been the buyer's big problem this whole time, right? Is interest rates and payments, and that's why they want to stay close to 400,000. Buyer would like a large backyard for the kids to play. Now we're getting into their heartstrings. We're getting into their reason for buying, getting into their emotions. Buyer's #1 priority, it's good schools. And I should have put, if I'm a good salesperson, I would put here for the kids, for Lauren and Billy, for whoever, right? Okay. Do one or the other of those, not both. But get personal with the people. Let them know you listen. You know their family members. You know they're this. You know they're that. You're listening to these people. Buyer preferred 3 bathrooms. We'll consider 2.5 if the price is right. These people have been through a lot with their kids, and more than one kid sharing a bathroom, and guests trying to use the same bathroom and stuff. But we'll listen to them, and they're going to try to get 2.5. Because look, guys, they're only spending up to 450, and they want a place with good schools. A 4.3 for 450 in a place with good schools isn't going to be that hard to find, right? Or is going to be hard to find. You already know that. So you've been talking to them, trying to keep their expectations in line as well. So this is where you're selling them on stuff. You're getting them excited about this whole process, right? Because there's 2 things we need. We need your buyers to buy, and we need them to be loyal to you. Okay. In order for you to do all that, you're going to have to find them what they want. You're going to have to work for them. You're going to have to listen to them and find them what they want. And this shows that you're doing that and that your plan is to find them exactly what they want or as close to that as possible, right? It says, add clause will come up. There it is, preferred terms and conditions. That doesn't mean absolute terms and conditions, right? It's not a contract. It's a buyer brokerage agreement. So you don't have to find them this house, exactly what they're saying here, but you're showing that you're listening to them and you're going to find them something close to that. Those are preferred terms. Contract, of course, overrides all this. Retainer. I always tell you guys not to do a retainer. If you do one, do $500, something like that. Do whatever you want, whatever they'll pay. I mean, if they're looking for a $10 million house, you might want to make this something more significant. This fee is not refundable and will or will not be credited to buyer if compensation is earned by broker as specified in this agreement. So it will or will not go against this 3% I'm about to talk about here. Okay, so you would take $500 off of their commission, or you would just not be credited. That was their retainer and goes on. But most retainers are credited toward the bill. When you think of a retainer for an attorney or whatever, it's obviously the bill eats that up and you have to refresh the retainer or whatever, but that's not how this works. Okay, compensation. Purchase or exchange, we're going for a purchase. I use this back one because it's 3% and allows you to plus 350 plus 175. You can do 2.5% plus 175 plus 350, whatever it is. You can do that. This is where you have already explained, and you are going to explain to them that the buyer does not pay the commission. You're showing them listings. You're saying these pay 3%, whatever. You can make this 2.5. This is a bottom for you. Okay, 2.5 to 3. You can write 2.5 to 3%, whatever it is you want to do. That is your bottom line. Okay, so they're going to ask if you put 2.5 here, and the MLS offers you 3. Well, do I get that other 0.5% or whatever? They might not even know until they see it on the HUD. But this is where you put your commission here, your 3%, your 350, whatever you want. If you don't put it here, you need to use affiliated business disclosure, which you should use anyway, and it'll be in there, and it'll be in there double, so that'll be fine. Lease option. If you were doing this just for a lease or whatever, then you would use that. Or if they've said, you know what, we may just rent, well, then you would do something there for a lease. Protection period. I usually put 60 or 90 days. I think 60 is fine. If they ask about that, that's if I show you something and you guys end up going back and buying it 60 days later with somebody else, I still get paid. I don't think they're going to have an objection to that, because why would they ever do that? You know, they're going to say, well, I would never cut you out of a deal. So there you go. Here's the special clauses. At closing, agent will purchase a 1-year home warranty for the buyer's new home. If that's something you guys have talked about, if that's their hot button issue, is I'm afraid last time I bought a house, everything broke as soon as I moved in, you know, whatever it is, if that's a hot button for them, you guys have all done that before. Or, you know, sometimes you guys have given people, you know, 20% of their commission toward their favorite charity, or, you know, whatever it is that you're going to do. This is where you put that. And that's a great place to do that. If you are going to do something like this, it's right here at the end, right before they sign. And don't forget, guys, at closing, I'm going to buy you guys a 1-year home warranty. Or at closing, I'm going to donate 20% of my commission toward the charity of your choice, right? So in which you would actually put whatever the charity of their choice is, because you have already talked about this, and you would say, I'm going to donate 20% toward, you know, St. Jude's Hospital for Children, whatever it is that there's their hot button, right? So as far as the other stuff around this, we've been through this before. All this does is say broker's obligations, buyer's obligations. You guys ask this question a lot. Buyer understands that broker may work with other by the way, guys, this is one as a transaction brokerage. There is one as a single agent. I tell you guys the same reason I tell you to use a transaction brokerage for a listing agreement. You guys will run into each other out there in the world. You guys all, most of you guys, if you've been here a while, you've run into other FRI agents on deals. You just happen to have the seller and they have the buyer, or vice versa. So buyer understands that broker may work with other prospective buyers who want to acquire the same property as the buyer. Also, this goes for individual agents. You guys have had 2 buyers. I've had you guys call me where you have 2 buyers interested in the same property. If broker submits offer by competing buyers, broker will notify buyer that a competing offer has been made, but will not disclose any of the offer's material terms or conditions. Buyer agrees that broker may make competing buyers aware of the existence of any offer buyer makes, so long as broker does not reveal any material terms or conditions of the offer without buyer's prior written consent. No buyer is going to give you prior written consent to share the terms with another buyer. So that's probably not going to happen. But this is how you should handle that anyway. I'm not even sure why it's in this agreement, but that's how you should handle it. Fair housing, obviously, service providers. Broker does not warrant or guarantee products or services provided by any third party whom at buyer's request refers recommended as buyer in connection with the property acquisition. All right, and then it goes to buyer's obligations. They're going to use you for all of their needs. All of their negotiating and finding the property, referring to broker all inquiries of any kind of licensees, property owners, or any other source. If buyer contacts or is contacted by a seller or real estate licensee who is working with a seller or views a property unaccompanied by a broker, buyer will at first opportunity advise the seller of real estate licensee or real estate licensee that buyer is working with and represented exclusively by a broker. These are the ones who come into your open house and they say, I'm working with somebody. These are also the ones come into your house and say, well, you know, Angie showed me a few properties. Did you sign anything with Angie? Right? That's the whole point of this thing. Did you sign anything? Because you guys are asking about that. Did you sign anything with her? Well, we signed some kind of thing where for like 3 months. Okay, have Angie call me, right? Or have Angie write this. Well, let's call Angie right now. Let's call her together, right? Something. Providing broker with accurate personal and financial information requested by broker in connection with and ensuring buyer's ability to acquire property. Buyer authorizes broker to run a credit check and verify buyer's credit information. We're not typically doing that unless it's a lease. Being available to meet with broker at reasonable times for consultations and to view properties. Indemnifying and holding broker harmless from and against all losses, damages, costs, expenses of any kind, including attorney's fees, liability in person, broker incurs because of acting on buyer's behalf. Not asking or expecting to restrict the acquisition of property according to race, religion, color, of course. Consulting an appropriate professional for blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's their job. Is we're telling him, this last one is telling them we're not lawyers, we're not tax professionals, we're not environmental experts, we're not engineers, and we're not experts on their tax laws in our country for foreign nationals or in their own or anywhere. We're not tax professionals for anything. So any questions on this? I know I kind of buzzed through it. We've done this before, but any kind of questions on this? You can just unmute yourself and ask. All right. I love it. No questions. Yes, my video is kind of freaking me out too. I got to get that fixed. So there we go. No questions on the buyer brokerage agreement? You guys all got it? That's
what are the objections most people get with these?
Most people are very weak salespeople, and they get the first objection they get, they run. The number one objection is they'll come up with any objection because their real objection is they feel like they're going to have to pay you something, and they don't understand. So the number one objection I would say would be from lack of education. Then they'll make up anything. So when you get to the 3%, so I have to pay that, even though you've explained to them already how it works, right? So I have to pay that 3% above the purchase price. No, that's not how it works, right? And you explain all that to them. So the number one objection is people get all kinds of objections because they go into it very weak, and they go into it like, well, you guys, please sign this. You guys can tell them your broker makes you sign up. We highly recommend that you get these signed, and a lot of you guys are. I will say that when I started doing this, 8 years ago, and talking to you guys about this, very few of you were doing it. Now there are a lot more of you doing it, and I love it.
A friend of mine includes it, like if you're going to do a contract, just include it with part of the, I mean, I know that kind of defeats somewhat of the purpose, but at least if that contract falls through or they do something else, it's signed as part of that package, and you're not, I know that's not total the purpose of it, but. Right.
And these things, just so you guys know, these things are not bulletproof. If your buyer wants to dump you and use somebody else, they can do that at any time. If your buyer if a buyer complains about you, Tammy never returned my phone calls, so I had to use another company, right? nobody's gonna, when you go to arbitration about this, you're gonna lose. If they said, I wanted to work with Romina because Tammy never returned my phone calls. Okay, so they're gonna say that, and the arbitration board is gonna give, unless you did everything else, they're gonna give that preference if they said they wanted to get rid of you. So, and that happens sometimes. It's happened to our people before, and it's happened to other agents that our people have picked them up before. So I've seen that both ways. And no other questions before we get off of this. I heard if you don't have a signed broker agreement, your party is considered, no, that's not, no, you're assumed to be a transaction broker. A buyer, because your party is only considered a buyer only, not a client. You have to be careful with client and customer and all that kind of stuff. People just say client for everything, but some people are just customers and some people are clients. It has to do with transaction broker relationship, etc. We'll get clarification for you on that. Any other questions or comments? Yes.
Yeah. Also, Rain, I've had new construction builders ask me for this signed in order to pay me. So I had
Okay.
like 2 of them ask me lately. I don't know. I think Romina does a lot of new construction. I don't know if it's a lot of the builders, but they've asked me for it. So you might as well get it done, you know, because if they're going to need it, if they want it to pay us, then we should have it done.
Oh, for sure. You should have it done anyway, guys. We don't need special reasons to have it done. You should have it done anyway. Some people require it. That's great, but you should have it done anyway. Any other questions on buyer brokerage agreement?
About the retainer, you say you prefer not to charge anything, but how will you handle that retainer actually?
And that's why I don't, because I don't like holding money and doing all that stuff. But if it's not going to be applied toward, well, we could just we'll turn it around for you. It needs to be made out to Florida Realty Investments, of course, and we'll turn it around for you. You can never take just money for doing real estate services. This is driving me bananas. I apologize. You can never just take money for doing real estate services. So it will come to the office. If it's it's not refundable under any circumstance, it can be applied toward the thing. So we'll go ahead and turn around and give it to you.
Okay. And for example, if you explain to the person, let's say, well, it says not refundable, but if we wanted to tell the client, for example, okay, so you pay this amount, X amount, whatever it is, and at the end of the purchase of the house, we can credit you that money. Would that be?
We don't have to tell them that. It's right there in the paragraph. I'm sorry, I'm looking at it and you're not. Hold on one second.
Oh, will be or will not be credited. Yes. Okay.
All right. Yeah, it says right here, will or will not be. So we don't have to do anything special. It says it is.
Perfect. Yeah. So will be credit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's self-explanatory there. In that, it's all in that paragraph. So we don't have to write a special term at the bottom or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's right there. All right. Any other questions? Awesome. Okay. What else do you guys want to talk about? Any other questions for the brokerage? So soon, before I get any further, soon we will be announcing a date for our award ceremony, and soon we will be announcing a date for headshots. So they are free headshots. They are going to try to get you guys to buy packages and stuff like that, which you may want to do. You should get different ones. They're going to give you one headshot for free, and the rest of them are packages and stuff like that. So you guys should definitely consider that stuff. But we will have headshot day. You guys excited about that? Anybody? Thumbs up? Nothing. You guys, well, you can't see me. I'm excited about it. There we go. All right. Any other?
Is it the same people that did it before?
No, it's not. Those people moved. That went so poorly that they moved, Tammy. I'm kidding. It went well. They liked it, but they moved. They retired. They moved to Colorado.
Oh, wow. They look like Colorado people.
Didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
They really did. I've known them a long time. I've known them since I was a kid. And yeah, they were that age too, to get out of town. But yeah, they did. I never really thought about it that way. Any other? Yes, Ida, Colorado is a great place. Yes. Okay. Good. Good, wonderful. So Julie's excited about the headshots. All right, good. Any other questions or comments?
Oh, Ryan, it's Lisa. I have a question about teams. What does that really mean? Like, do you have one person in charge and then, or how does that?
Okay, teams is some people are partnership teams and some people are, who cover for each other and share leads and share expenses and do that kind of stuff. And some people are have team leaders where the team leader provides a lot of stuff and everyone pays a tribute every time they close. So there's different kinds of teams. So every team is a little bit different. Every team has a little bit different numbers and a little bit different structure and different things the team leader provides, different responsibilities of the team members. And so a team can be anything, really. Does that make sense? I mean, so every team's different. Does that make sense to you guys?
MLS requires you to have a team. If you have a team name, I think they require you to have a MLS team ID.
Okay. Well, more importantly than that, FREC requires you to notify your broker if you're a team, give us an update every month on your team members, and we have to have a copy of your team agreement. So if you're going to do a team, you have to do that as well. So yeah, and register with MLS as a team. If you're going to use your team, you're going to call it a team, you're going to have a number for it.
And didn't they have some parameters on what words you used too? I think at some point they had what you called it or something. I seem to remember. I don't know.
Definitely. You cannot use, I have a whole list of things you can't use. You can't sound like a brokerage. So you can't call it the Pipkin Real Estate Group or whatever. You can call it the home team, the Pipkin home team, or, whatever you want to call it. Tammy's Terriers, whatever you want to call it, but you can't use anything that makes it sound like a brokerage. And they have a definition of that. So you can't say the Pipkin Realty team. Even if you throw team on there, you can't do it. Any other? Yes.
Yeah. Does anybody use Sky Slope offers, the new thing on the MLS?
Does anyone use that?
I just, Romina, this is Malice. I just submitted an offer this past week on it. I was with the buyer. It was pretty easy because the listing agent provided the link. And all I did was to submit the contract, the addendums and everything. And I automatically received an email back from Skyloop saying that the offer has been received. And then when my offer was rejected, because it was rejected, they sent me a thank you email, explaining, your the seller decided to go with another offer. So it was pretty simple from the buyer side of it.
Okay, I saw a video on Facebook from MLS, from Stellar MLS, and they do have like they did like a live explanation, and then I saw the video and it looks really easy, nice, super organized, but I don't know, I haven't used it. I tried 2 days ago, I said I'm gonna do it, but then I said no, I don't know. I wasn't sure, but that's why I wanted to make sure know if anybody did it before.
Romina, I've been using showing time offers. So it's basically the same type of service, but it's through showing time. So in order to submit an offer, you go to like click on the showing time icon in the MLS, and then you could submit your offer there. And it's the same type of service. You upload the contract and pre-approval and everything there. And then it sends a text to the agent when I've opened their offer. Like if somebody sends me an offer on my property, when I've opened it and viewed it, it sends them a text automatically. So I don't have to respond to everybody to say, I received your offer. It automatically tells them, and then you can go on there and click, which one you've accepted and which one you've declined. And it'll automatically send them a notification that an offer has been accepted.
That's cool. Can you upload the forms, or can you send the forms to be signed through the same showing time, or you have to do it through, let's say, transaction desk or the other one, and then send it through. You have.
Yeah, you basically do your offer the same way. And then instead of emailing the offer as a PDF, you know, a PDF attachment in an email, you upload it to Showing Time. And there's a spot there to upload attachments and the contract and the pre-approval, proof of funds, whatever it might be. There's spots to upload it all there. You can make a little summary for the listing agent so they can see a summary of it. You can type notes to the listing agent if there's something special you want to say. But it's basically, instead of sending it as an email, you send it through Showing Time. And I'm trying to see my invoice for how much I pay for it. I don't know, because I've Showing Time. I'll try to log in and see. I know it's not a lot, and it was worth it to me to kind of keep contracts and offers organized.
Well, I think that through Skyslope or Slope, I think you can, for what I remember, you can fill out everything and signatures through there. It's like, it seems to be nice. I don't know. I'm gonna
So
try.
you think the contracts are there and then you can send them through e-signing there?
I think so. For what I saw, I don't know. Melvin, maybe she can.
No, I had the buyer. So I had, when I click on the link to submit the offer, it was basically what Angie was explaining. There was no place for me to send electronic signatures. I have done that prior.
But
it was basically, just to upload the PDF documents into that system. And I think it's mainly with the purpose of organization.
But I think you can. I think you can do the signatures too, because I was seeing the video. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, but that was one of the things that actually catch my attention, because they were explaining like, okay, so you can put the number signature here. You can, so I think you can do that too. But
you might
guys
be
have to
right,
see the
because
video.
I haven't done it through that way, because I use .loop. And I do know, because I did get a notification from .loop that .loop was partnering with the MLS. So maybe that's why.
Good morning.
Yeah.
This is Ida. I have used years ago Skyslope, and yes, you have the ability to do the e-sign. And yes, you get all this notification, which is great. To me, at the time, too many steps, and I don't like things that takes me here and there. But they have upgraded the system, and I understand that it's much better. So maybe you want to take a look and play with it, and see how you like it.
Is there a fee for the buyer's agent to use it with the signatures?
Well, I was using it through my previous brokerage, so
I wonder if that's the case, because like I pay for Showing Time offers as the listing agent, but then when someone submits an offer, they don't have to pay Showing Time offers. They just submit the offer through the system, and then it comes to me and I pay for the system. But
I don't
it
think
seems
so.
to me like
I think it's free. Sorry.
If you're going to do it the other way around, like write an offer and use their signing thing, it seems like there might be a charge. And I'm on Skyslope right now, and like it shows my listings here, and it shows like a link that I could send to people to tell them to make an offer. But I don't see where I can like make an offer on listings to be able to like, well, it says create new. No, that's a new listing. Yeah, I'm not sure how that works, because that would be cool if you could do all the signing through there and kind of cut out a middle step. Would be nice, of having to download a PDF. It's something simple, but it's time consuming.
And Facebook, if you go to Stellar MLS, and then they do have the video there. Actually, I think they do have the video also when you log into your MLS on
on this
Stellar
social
it tells
media.
you that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you can explain it there.
Hi, guys. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Yes.
Great. I wanted to jump in because I hear you guys talking about offers done through another platform. And I know I have brought this before, but there is a Web3 platform that I use for crypto deals and for traditional deals. And it does exactly what you guys are describing. Documents from the MLS are already synced in there, checklist, down payment, to collect the earnest money deposit directly from there. digital signatures, everything that you guys are talking about. But on top of it, they pay you in crypto for every single step. So I find that to be a very good solution for me. And on top of it, accumulating for the next bull run, I think is a good deal.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Fantastic. You have details on that?
Just like I will send you guys here the link so you guys can check it out. It does have a fee, but when you become crypto certified and you do your first deal, even if it's a traditional deal, you still get paid. And you can do all of those things from it. It's super simple. And it's, like I said, it's already syncing with the MLS. I'll send you guys the link.
Share it on our Facebook page too, please. Okay. Any other questions, comments? Lisa, what's the cost to use SkySlope? I don't know. You're going to have to go through a demo to get that with them. I just looked at their website. Any other questions or comments? Angie, were you using SkySlope? Do you know how much it is?
No, I'm using showing time offers, and
Okay.
it's $9 a month for showing time offers.
Okay.
For all your listings. And they even said I could use my seller MLS and my Jacksonville MLS. I'm using it for both.
Okay. You can do a demo and ask for a week of trial. Any other questions or comments?
Ryan, I have a question. A
Hi,
stupid
Malvis.
question. So if a buyer is under contract and already past home inspection period, there's nothing wrong with them obtaining a loan or anything, can they just back out of a contract and say, I don't want to buy this house anymore? I know they will lose the deposit, but what would be other complications or anything? Can they just not buy a house if they don't want it anymore?
If the seller signs a release, they can. That's what the release, part of the release and cancellation is. If the seller agrees to sign it, they can. And typically sellers will. If the seller doesn't have any further damages, etc., they'll probably let them go. But no, you can't just back out of a deal after your inspection period. I'm assuming that's on an as is, but either way you can't. So it doesn't matter if it's an as is or not. I had one of you guys yesterday talk to me about a client just signed a contract the day before, now it would be 2 days ago, and yesterday, one day after signing, they hadn't made escrow yet, and they needed to back out because something happens. Oh, she had to wait till her next birthday before she could buy. She had to wait till, for some kind of tax purposes, she had to wait till her next birthday before she could buy. Oh, I see the agent in here right now. And so there she is. Hi, Lauren. And so could she back out with no penalty? Yes, because she used an as-is contract. If she had used a standard contract, then no, right? You have to find a bunch of stuff wrong with the house and you have to, whatever, you'd be locked in, you'd lose your deposit, typically. After one day, they'd probably let you out pretty cheap. I mean, if you're a reasonable salesperson and a reasonable negotiator, they'd probably let you out pretty cheap for just tying up their property for one day. But with an as-is, you don't even have to worry about that. And no, you don't have to make escrow. If your escrow wasn't due yet, you don't have to make escrow. Okay. If your escrow was due and if you're just late on an escrow, then yes, you're in breach of contract and you owe the escrow. So don't let your clients be late on escrow.
Yeah,
All right.
this is somebody that's having second thoughts about the home, and escrow is made, everything is done, like they're almost up to closing, and now the family is having second thoughts about the house. And their loan is going through as far as I know.
Right. And do not let them, Malvis, if that's what they want to do, send the cancellation with the seller getting the thing and hope for the best that they just sign it and let them go. They should, but they don't always. It depends on both the seller and the agent. If either one of them wants to be a stickler and try to say they have some kind of, they're owed a commission or they're owed this or that, they can do that. So be very careful with that. But yeah, buyer's remorse is not a good reason after buyer's remorse is fine during your inspection period of an as-is. Buyer's remorse is not okay right before closing. And you can submit the thing and hope for the best. do not try to get a denial by not corresponding with the lender or something like that.
Mhm.
You know, I don't, if you want to, I mean, I've got some other ideas and stuff. I don't want to, this is being recorded. I'm just kidding. but you know, but I will say this, you know, I've seen deals fall apart because someone went and bought a new truck or bought some Cane's furniture or something like that and, you know, ruined their credit. Or didn't ruin it, but put it down a couple of notches or put up their debt to income or didn't qualify for the house that they wanted. You guys have heard those stories and seen those stories. If you've been in this business long enough, it's probably happened to you. Yeah, George loves it. It's happened to George, but this might be a good thing for these people to do. Romina said she got disconnected. All right. You can do a demo and answer. Okay. Any other questions? Questions or comments? Anything else? So I just want to be clear about that. Yes, you did, signing a contract to buy something or sell something is a serious thing to do. That is a legal contract. Even though we're just a bunch of idiots with real estate licenses, they made that dummy contract for us, and those people are signing a real contract, a real legal binding contract, and that's serious. And if you go through this process, and a lot of you guys think, oh, it's just okay, you know, we'll just go through, and if we can't close, we can't close. That's not the way it works. I mean, if they don't want to close, that's different than can't close. And there's some serious ramifications. That's a serious legal contract. That's real. It doesn't seem like real money sometimes because we're buying something for $500,000 and we don't have $500,000. We only have $25,000. So this $500,000, it's not real money. It's just a loan we pay. It's not $500,000. It's you know, $3,000 a month. It's not. That's not the same thing. It is. It really is $500,000. It really is real money. It really is. It's real business. And your sellers can't back out, guys. Your sellers cannot back out. Make sure they know that. Your buyers cannot back out unless it's during that inspection period, or unless it's for a reason they just can't close. This is serious business. You guys make serious checks. These sellers walk away with serious checks, or they get rid of a serious loan and they get a little bit of money, right? Because they had a serious mortgage somewhere. This is serious business. This is real money. And sometimes we don't take it seriously because we never see the real money. The real money comes from the lender on closing day, right? But it's real money. And so your people have to take it very seriously. You guys make a lot of money for every deal that you do. You know how hard a regular person works for $12,000? And we get $12,000 checks and it's like, oh, well, got another one coming in 2 weeks. Sometimes we get a $12,000 check or we get a $2,000 check and don't have another one coming for 3 months. So, I mean, it happens, but this is serious business.
Hey, Ryan, I have my 112 showing house. They were wanting to not go forward with the sale when we have a contract because they're getting a divorce and they couldn't decide. They were going to split their proceeds 50-50. And then the husband decides, no, I want 70-30 after you pay off my $18,000 charge card. And she's like, if he wants that, I'm not closing. I go, you are under contract. You have to close. That's really not the buyer's problem. So she goes, well, I know those buyers probably don't have much money. So I don't think, you know, they probably wouldn't sue. And is this correct? If the buyers chose to talk to an attorney and sue, they're going to close. I'm sure they're going to settle, but you never know till the end. But if the buyers got an attorney and did sue, you sue for performance, they can force the sale, correct? They can force this. They can force. In this case, they could definitely force the sale because nobody needs that house to live in. It's because of the divorce, et cetera. They can force a sale for sure. Okay. So I'm not an attorney. Do they pay the attorney fees too, right? Then yes. If they win, they have to pay the attorney's fees. Okay. Correct? I am not an attorney, but I've got some great scenarios for you on this. The buyers would go see an attorney. The attorney is going to take it on consignment. I don't care if they have or not on consignment. He's going to take it on contingency, right? Yeah. His fee is going to be contingent. He's going to get his fee paid by somebody else. There's going to be plenty of money to go around. All right. He's going to add that to the suit, his fees. An attorney will take this on a contingency. Like John Morgan's going to do when you get hit by a bus. He's going to take it on contingency, right? Okay. Right. So that's what they're going to do too, because they have a slam dunk winning case, the seller default slam dunk winner.
he's going to ask to see he or she is going to ask to see some paperwork first, to make sure you weren't in breach, and then let's go for it. All right. The
How long
seller
does that
is
process normally take?
not that long. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
They're going to get whatever damages that they have, plus probably some kind of punitive stuff. You're going to get a commission. They're going to get the buyer's agent's going to get a commission. They're going to sue for that. They're going to sue for any damages they have for selling their house and having to stay in a hotel or whatever they've done. They're going to get obviously their inspection, their appraisal, any fees, anything that they've paid. They're going to get all kinds of stuff. They're going to do very well. And in this case, the judges, anything that's been delayed, obviously they're not going to get that stuff back if they get the house. But in a case like this, typically what we've seen is they don't like to make people perform if let's say they weren't getting divorced and then they put the house under contract and now they are getting divorced and she still needs the house, so they want to back out of the deal. That's different because they still need the house. So they're just going to get damages and stuff like that. And they're going to let her or him or whoever gets to stay in the house, stay in the house. But if they're both abandoning this house and both moving out, which they were already getting divorced, so they're already planning on getting rid of this house, they'll just make them sell it and argue about the 70-30 and 50-50 afterwards, which they should do, which is what we have to do as agents when we have a procuring cause problem, right? We don't go in and blow up the deal and say, I want my commission and George is claiming the commission and blah, blah, blah. No, we have to, as professionals, we have to let them close. And then George and I can fight about the commission, right? Because we don't hold up the general public, that people that we serve, from getting their house sold or their house bought. All right. So it's similar to that. And so what I would recommend to them, Tammy, is you guys talk to your attorney, and what he's probably going to tell you is to argue about the money later, close the deal and argue about the money later. Mm-hmm. That's what as their agent, you don't have to necessarily tell them that, but tell them to make sure they talk to their attorney. Their attorney's not going to say, oh, this is a good idea.
I think she's going to do whatever she has to get the deal closed, and she might end up taking the less money, but I'm pretty sure unless he pulls some shenanigans at the end. But I did learn a lesson. I don't know if I would take a listing when two people are kind of splitting up and that's not all spelled out. It's you think it's going to go fine, and then all of a sudden it just kind of could go anyway. Yeah. I don't like being in this position.
No, I understand. and be very careful when you give them advice on this to say, well, what your lawyer's going to tell you is yes. Don't do that. Just say, talk to your lawyer.
I just say, you guys are under contract. You'd be
not just your divorce attorney. They need to talk to a real estate attorney who's going to tell them, look, you've got to close this or you're going to get sued for my fees, their fees, everybody's fees and damages and et cetera, and commissions. Right. You're due a commission on this, Tammy. Mm-hmm. As long as the buyer shows up ready, willing, and able, you're due a commission.
Right.
Okay. Or if they're on pace to be ready, willing, and able to close.
Right.
All right. Any other questions? Well, you guys got me fired up at the end of this thing. Let's go. More questions. All right. Wonderful. We'll be on the lookout. We've got the headshots coming. We've got the awards coming. Even if you don't win anything, come to the awards thing and get excited about winning something this year. All right. We'll be letting you guys know. Any other questions? Going once? Going twice? Malvis? All right. Goodbye, everybody. Have a good week, and we will see you next week. Thank you.